So we appreciate that we can record to send to the people who are not able to be on at this time. And we are excited to have everybody here. And as you know, Hilda, we're a group who I think there's some excitement in the group.
Good. Love it. Awesome.
Yeah, and we're excited for November. We have great goals. And as I told you, we have been saying, okay, we might not be exactly where we want to be, but we do have those goals and we are excited for it. And we are so appreciative of you taking time out of your schedule to be here with the group today. So thank you so much. We feel honored that you're here. And for the agenda, we do know that you're going to do a training, and we also know that there's going to be some time for questions so people can have them prepared afterwards too, because we want to hit those goals and everything that we need. So thank you so much, Hilda, for being here. We appreciate it.
Well, it's my pleasure to see you all, and it's my pleasure to join in again on your 90-day Zoom. A few days ago, I came home from South Africa. So I had the pleasure of meeting our South African team. It was like a 72-hour trip, half of the time on a plane, half on the time on stage. But it was really nice to meet all of the lovely people in South Africa. And as you know, there is so many different things going on in the Zinzino community. If you looked at the report in October, 65% up. And when I go into my Power BI, we have this magical tool, where we go into an app and we double check the different numbers, the country by country, and how many start kits, how many customers, I can tell you that there is basically green numbers all the way over, and things are looking really good. Now, I actually had to text Carla prior to this meeting because I've been having so many meetings, back to back. And sometimes it's a little difficult to remember what did I actually speak about the last time. So she basically had to give me a little summary because first of all, I understood that this time was really about vision, but then I understood I actually had covered vision the last time. But I anyway want to touch on a few things just for your reminders. And then I think that what we're going to do, like Carla said, is that we really want to touch on what do we do now here in November, right? How do we transform that energy into momentum and action steps that gives us the result that we want? And then obviously I can talk about a lot of different things, but I think that the most important thing is for you to get your questions answered. And sometimes some of those live coachings that is happening in these meetings are actually, I would say,
Madison.
part of the meeting. Carla have told me prior to this meeting that maybe some of you would like some extra insights on closing, questions to ask. So maybe we will touch a little bit on that, but I'm a little flexible. I'm basically coming here without any notes. But let's just give you, let me just first give you a few reminders. This business is not just built in 3 months. It's built over time. And I think that consistency is the key, obviously, in everything that we do, okay? Your habits is always going to be reflected in your results. Now, sometimes you can be at a place where you're like, I'm doing all of the right things, I'm doing all of the meetings, everything, I've been spending a lot of time, and you still feel frustrated because you don't necessarily see the breakthrough. Now, I don't know if you've ever been there. I can assure you, I've been there several times, right? So you know for a fact, you can sign, I'm doing the right things. I'm spending the hours, I'm meeting people every single day, I'm approaching new people, I'm sponsoring every single year, but I'm still not getting those results that I want. Now, a lot of people in those situations, they back out or they slow down. But my experience is that the people that push through are the people that develop, first of all, the character, but also the skills and the momentum in their team that eventually help them to break through. Now, to keep going through sometimes challenging times, everything starts with a vision. You got to know why you do Zinzino. Because if you don't know why you do Zinzino, if you don't remind yourself about why you do what you do, well, then all of those things that are happening from day to day can easily distract you. And if I understood correctly, one of the things that I spoke about the last time, at least I remember I spoke a little bit about it on the event, was that you want to have a clear vision, but not just that, you want to sometimes step up your vision to make it worth it. And then you want to make sure that your words are clear. So you want to speak your vision out boldly. Now, science actually shows that to get what you want, you got to be a little bit extreme. Now, to reprogram your brain, you got to boost neuroplasticity, which is basically your brain's ability to rewire. And neuroplasticity is boosted when you repeat something with intensity and emotion. Okay, you become a little bit extreme. Now, your brain doesn't change through casual effort. It changes through obsession. Obsession boosts dopamine. Dopamine boosts motivation and momentum. Dopamine is kind of like the mental energy that keeps you going when other people want to give up. And because your brain filters reality through what you are obsessed with, your reticular activating system starts to tune your attention towards what matters most to you. Now, this is one of the reasons why dream boards work. This is one of the reasons why goal setting works. This is why you got to be careful what you put on your dream board, what you speak out loud, because this is what we call law of attraction. Now, the challenge, though, is that people say, well, I don't know if, my dreams can be a reality. Well, the table that I'm sitting with here in front of me was once someone's person's a dream, right? Someone dreamed about creating this particular table, and then they acted on it, and then that vision became a reality. But everything starts with a dream. Everything starts with a thought, and then when you become obsessed with that thought, you will automatically, tune your attention to create that dream into reality. So what then happens is that when you are really focused, suddenly you start to notice people that you didn't notice before. Suddenly you start to see opportunities where you did not see opportunities. So my point, my friend, is that this is not the time to slow down. This is the time to step up the pace. But to also remind yourself that the most important thing in a 90-day run, yes, obviously we all want results, and we're going to create some amazing results by the end of this month. I'm absolutely confident that we're going to create some incredible victory stories. But the most important thing is that we are implementing habits that you stay consistent with because it's those habits that will enable you to win big. So looking here at the month of November, we want to obviously always work according to the SMART principle. And I'm sure that you have your goals in place and they're specific. They are hopefully measurable, right? So, most likely many of you have a rank that you want to aim for. You've broken it down into how many contracts, how many meetings, what do I need to produce together with this person? How much do I need to produce together with that person? So probably you have all of these things in place, right? You want to make sure that it's attractive. And if it's not attractive enough, you want to make sure that it becomes attractive, either by zooming out and seeing the big picture, or maybe even increasing your goal. Obviously, it also should be within a certain realism, within a certain reach, right? And it should be obviously time frame or time specific, and surely November is November, so we know the deadline. Now, for those of you, I don't know exactly where everyone is here, is at in this particular group, but one of the things that is good to maybe remind yourself about is that a lot of people think that now we're stepping into half of the month. We're already now on 13th of November. And let's say that you're aiming for diamond as an example during this particular month. Well, a lot of people would then think that, well, probably by now I should now approach 6,000 credits. Now, I can tell you that I've experienced a few Novembers before with ECBX, right? And November is our peak month, and it's also the month that crazy things happen. So if you have a lot of action going in your team, I can tell you that by the 13th of November, you're going to be at about 20% of the volume, 2,400 credits. So if you're looking at your numbers now and you're like, gosh, I'm discouraged, I'm way below 6,000 credits. Well, if you are at 2,400 credits, I would say you're on track, at least compared to all of the other numbers that I've been analyzing over the years, looking at people who's been aiming for diamond. And this is very much the same, I would say. If you're aiming for a director, you got to be about at 20%. Same also with crown, right? So because there is a lot of things that will happen towards the end of this month. Now, as you do know, we have a Black Week coming up, and I can't necessarily reveal when it's coming, right? But you know it. I know it. And we got to get prepared for it, right? So by the 24th this month, you should be at 50%. So if your aim is to get to diamond, you should be at 6,000 credits by 24th of November. By 27th, 28th of November, you should be passing 70%. And then, action going on in your team, which I'm assuming that it is, then those last days always is crazy. So what a lot of people then do is that they slow down when they're approaching half time of the month because they don't know this. But this is actually my experience over and over and over again. And if you slow down, obviously you don't finish the race. So this is not the time to slow down. This is the time to upper the tempo in every single conversation. In your personal meetings, first of all, you got to upper the tempo in the time that you spend in your personal meetings, in your meetings together with your team, as well as in your communication with those leaders that you're supposed to help rise during this particular month. Now, most likely you have been calling around to your leaders and to maybe their leaders to check, what they would like to aim for, and help them broken down those numbers. But I do believe that intensifying the communication, and not from an angle where, oh, we just got to book more meetings, but where you are inspiring them to see the big picture, to see the importance in taking action now. Now, for a lot of people, let's say that those people that are going for gold, or those that are going for maybe 25 customers, they don't necessarily get the huge financial reward from achieving that, but it's still a very important rank. First of all, in relation to zooming out and the big picture, a lot of people that will go gold this month, they will have an opportunity to be executive by March. They will have an opportunity to be platinum by the summer, and they can have an opportunity to become a diamond by the next November, which will set them up in a totally different game, when it comes to this business, enabling them to either go down half time in their full-time job, invest more time with Zinzino, as well as also, in some countries, depending on where you work, actually being able to work full-time and go director within a very short time frame. But then you got to be the one who zoom out on that picture and remind them, because they don't necessarily understand why it's important for them to go gold or achieve 25 customers this particular month. Now, another thing that you can also remind people about is the meaning behind it. Now, every single time when we approach a customer, we're not just selling a product, we're transforming people's lives. And literally every single week, I get tear-dripping testimonials from people, who's achieved life-changing results because of someone offering them the balance oil, or someone offering them the Synobiotic, or someone offering them, some other product that we offer. So to zoom it out, looking at the bigger picture, this is important along the way. We don't jump up 5 steps. We take one step at the time, but then also reminding them that every single customer you approach, every single partner that they approach, well, it's a meaning behind it all. So looking at then the time that you spend, are you spending the amount of time? Number 2, are you doing enough growth zone activities? Now, a lot of people are very reactive, and I'm not necessarily saying that you are reactive, but sometimes I see a lot of people, they're kind of waiting for people to book their calendar. Well, this is not the mind to wait for people to book your calendar. You want to be proactive, right? So you want to have those motivational conversations. And you want to make sure that on a scale from 0 to 10, you're lifting them so that they are at least a 7, 8, or a 9. And then you say, would you like my help to brainstorm some names, to do some meetings, to schedule these calls? Can I remind you how to approach some of these people so that we get those meetings in to the calendar? When would be a good time for you to book those meetings? And when can you let me know that the meetings are in? So you want to be proactive in relation to that, but you want to lift people's eyes so that they know why they are doing what they do. So looking now at this specific part of the month, I would say it's all about partner recruiting. We want to recruit, we want to recruit, we want to recruit, and we can probably go into some more nuggets around closing here, Carla, since you asked me about that. But then just before stepping into that, when we launch the Black Week, you got to be prepared. And there are 5 lists that I want you to prepare for. Number 1, you want to have lists for new potential customers. So I would say that now we focus a lot on a lot of partner meetings, right? We get everyone to book a lot of meetings, but then immediately when we get into the Black Week, then you tune people's attention over to creating a lot of customers. Now, that does not mean that you're not finishing up, when continuing to book partner meeting, but then we got to emphasize the customer enrollment. So new customers, then you probably also have a lot of people in your team that are in their fast start season. So all of the people that you have on your fast start list, you want to make sure that we lift them over 10 customers so that you get qualified X team, right? Right away, as soon as possible. And then we have a lot of people that probably need their refund because they need to get qualified for 25 customers. So for those that are in that specific season, even though, the deadline is not running out to November, even the deadline is running out to, in the future somewhere, we want to get them up to 25 customers because it's an incredible opportunity for them to act fast. And then number 4, we have lots of customers already in the team and we want to upsell them. So we want to make a plan to ensure that people get offered different products, can take advantage. And one of the things that is also important to understand is that during this time of the year, it's literally like people are walking around with their wallet. Very close, they're ready to buy. They are ready to buy. It's like, I notice it myself as well. I'm ready to shop my Christmas gift now. So I'm like, oh, when is the Black Week coming? I can probably make some good deals, right? So people are ready for that. And then number 5, you want to win back certain customers. So again, new customers, fast starts, refunds, you want to upsell, and then you want to win back customers. And if you have prepared yourself and you have those lists in place, maybe it's 10 customers or 10 potential names, 20 potential names on each of them, or maybe more, if you have your team do the same. And I'm not saying that anyone should postpone closing customers. Of course they should not. Then they can generate their new customer to maybe upsell them, or they can get leads from them and help them qualify for Zinzino for free. But if you prepare your team for it, then when the clock hits, you can get a major result from it. So when we talk about closing, maybe someone would like to jump on here before I dig into that. Is there anyone here that feels that, closing, signing the deal, with potential partners, with potential customers can be a little bit challenging, and that would like some insights or input on that? Okay, Vivi is raising her hand. Jimmy. So anyone want to share a situation or an experience that you've had where you felt a little unsure what to do, how to do things? Lena, love it.
Yeah. So it's the common thing. We have had a good meeting and a good second look, but it's still like I have to think it over. Can you just give me some days? I just have to think about it. So I think that one is a difficult one.
Mm-hmm. So first of all, I think that everything has to do with value proposition. And this is a mix of everything, right? It's your energy. It's your need analysis. I usually say that you can't open a door, you can't close a door that is not open yet, right? So I think that the closing really has to do with you knowing why they potentially would like to do this. So in the beginning of a presentation, the big question is, what do you do? Do you ask questions? Do you get to know do you use the form method, family, occupation, recreation, message? Do you get to know them? Do you build a little bit relationship? Yeah, in the beginning, what do you have children? What do they do in their spare time? You find common ground. You make sure that they feel valued. I love the quote by Dale Carnegie that is in How to Win Friends and Influence People. Every person is literally walking around with an invisible sign around their neck saying, "Make me feel important." So do you get them to talk? That is one of the most important things. Have you ever considered doing something on the side of what you currently do? Now, have you ever considered what that would be? So asking different questions in the beginning, trying to spark some interest is of importance. Then, when it comes to the closing part, I think that very often we're actually a little bit too afraid to just ask. So we use a lot of time, to warm them up, and we do a great presentation. But then when it comes towards the end, it's like silence. Now, my 5-step method that I normally use, and I've been using it, I don't know how many years, many years, is first of all, I say, so I've been talking a lot about different things here today, but what sparked your interest most? Was it the income opportunity, the health side of things, or, the opportunity to build a big business? And then I'm just silent and I wait for their response. And very often they say, well, there's different response to that. It could be either or, right? And then I usually say one more thing. I say, what did you like the most about what I was talking about? So I have a dialogue. You have different ways of closing and sealing the deal, and some are like hunters. What do you say? Should we start? That has never been kind of like my style. I usually ask a lot of questions. I get them to talk because then I continue to find their need. And then it's very easy because then they talk themselves in to do it themselves. Now, I would also ask, so do you have any specific questions that you feel is of urgency for you to get answered, for you to make a decision? So I get them on the table right away. And then I am a person that normally like, to be prepared for what is coming. And I do believe that most people, they would like to know, if I say yes, what will happen next, right? So I would normally say, as you know, there is, as I showed you, you can get started different ways. This is what I recommend, and I usually always recommend the ultimate kit because that also have the refund attached to it. So I talk about the benefits of that. And then I say that after, we've registered you as a partner and you've gotten your own partner account, we will also have a strategy meeting, an onboarding meeting where we make plans. We run through, some of your long-term goals, some of your short-term goals, and then we make a plan and I help you with those first meetings so that you don't feel that you're going to do things on your own. So you're going to get help in the startup process all the way through. And then obviously, eventually, you're going to know this by heart as I do, and it's going to be very easy for you to do it. But I will help you in that process. So we will do that meeting quite fast after. So by curiosity, if you were to start, which of these kits will fit you best at this point in time? And then I normally just say, I would have absolutely loved to get started and to work together with you, what would be a better time for me to register your partner account? Would it be today or tomorrow? And then obviously some people can say, well, there is still a few things that I need to think about. So that happens to all of us. So then I would say, is there anything that I can help you sort out right now? Because very often there are certain things. Maybe it's a money issue. Maybe they have a spouse that they gotta discuss certain things with. So you gotta ask again questions to figure out what is actually the real question. Now, if they have a spouse at home, as an example, and they don't feel that they can make the decision on their own, they got to have their approval, because that happens, right? Then maybe it would be a good idea for you to schedule a meeting with also the spouse tomorrow to ensure that the spouse get the right information, instead of your new prospect or your new potential partner trying to overload them with something that they don't necessarily know yet. Sometimes it could be other questions, but again, being a little bit of a detective without being a detective and being weird, right? But asking questions is very often the key in this process. And then some people, they are ready and they get started, and other people, they go into the pipeline and we follow up. And we all have some of those people. They have to get into a third look, a fourth look, and then a business presentation, a business planning session, and even an event, before they decide. But that's okay. Our job is to, I just say, our job is to serve people coffee and tea. We ask, what to know, what to know. We follow up. And in the majority of the cases, as long as you have a good follow-up plan, very often people will join. At least the right ones will join.
We want the right ones.
100% sure. Any other thing that you wonder about in relation to closing there? Carla, do you have anything on your mind?
Well, I know in regards to when people they say, is there a difference of asking things whether you're online or offline when you're in person? Is there a difference on that too? I had that question earlier today.
It all depends. Well, to a certain degree, it's easier, I would say. I would say that it's sometimes easier when you're sitting next to someone to ask for, are you in? But at the same time, I think that online is also, it's just about practice. And if you have built a relationship first, if you have been good at asking questions and figured out their need, very often it's just, I think that the challenge is that you feel sometimes that you're asking someone for a favor instead of you doing someone a favor. So I think that being okay with asking people it's important. Like, this business has transformed my life. It's transformed Carla's life. It's transformed so many people's lives. And I think that you not being hesitant in asking people to actually join the movement is of importance. Sometimes people do need a little bit of a push, and I'm not saying that we should, get people started that is not the right ones, and totally. I'm not talking about manipulation, okay? I'm absolutely not into that. People should start if they have a desire to do something with their life and they see this as a vehicle that can help them accomplish their goals. So I'm all about that. I don't want people in that should not be in. Then I would rather say, let's give them a customer offer, right? But sometimes people need a push. I'm actually a good example of someone who needed a little bit of a push. Now, when I got started in the direct selling profession, I was not necessarily ready to get started right away, but I thought, they asked with so much confidence that I thought, well, I this is probably a no-brainer. I'll sign the deal. Right? I'll sign the contract. It was a paper contract back in the days in the year 2000, right? And then because I'm a woman of my word, even though the next day I was a little hesitant to whether or not I should do this. And I was like, gosh, what did I sign up with? Maybe I made the decision a little bit too fast. I thought to myself, I better study it and I better start practicing to see if what they said was real. Now, I can tell you, I don't know if I would be in this profession. I don't know if my life would have turned out very differently if those two guys that gave me the presentation in the pizza restaurant back in the year 2000 didn't ask with confidence if I would join. Now, am I happy about my decision? I'm very happy about my decision. So the key is that just ask.
So,
First thing.
a quick question here. So, as we're usually training with the team, we say, okay, for all people, it's always good to have that third party there. Um, so, you've got the prospect, you've got the person who knows the prospect, who mostly has that the relationship there, and then they've got the third party there who is an upline or somebody who is showing that so it can be duplicatable. So is there who, because there's a difference. I think that many times it's the person with the relationship that we should be training on what to be saying for closing that deal, but it can also be the person who is the upline who has the confidence. But do you see any difference that would be better or worse?
I would say that it can be both, right? It can for sure be both. Number one, the absolute best is always if you train your partner to ask the questions because they have the closest relationship. But if you know that they're gonna, I'm not, excuse my language, screw it up, right? If they, you know that if they're just gonna, it's gonna go not good. Please excuse my language. Then maybe you should step in and help them. And if you are good at your job, then you would have asked questions, you would have gotten to know them, and you would have built a little bit of trust in the first meeting and in the second meeting, so that now it's a little bit easier for you to also ask. But surely the best is always if the person who's invited will say, I've really decided to do this. So maybe then, according to my 5-step method, right? Maybe they jump in on number 5, where they say, I've really decided that I'm going to do this. And my goal is by X to reach that. And I'm really looking, like I said in the beginning, I'm really looking for some people that would like to join me. And I highly do believe that we together can create something incredibly powerful as a team. Now, I would love to work with you. What do you say? So that's basically the only thing that you're going to help them with, you're going to train them on in that process if you know that it's going to be difficult for them to run through the whole process.
Mm-hmm. Like that. Now I have another one. We actually, on one of the groups today, had a conversation about confidence and having that posture. And some people have said sometimes it's the timing, or if you've had some no's, or when you're contact people, the more you're contacting, sometimes they're like, okay, I feel like I've been lacking confidence. I'm not exactly sure. I don't feel sure. So sure, I feel that I'm inadequate. I feel that. And what can people really be doing to be building that confidence. They want to have the results, but it's like, well, if I got results, I would have more confidence. And if I, but you need more confidence to get the results. So it's a never-ending story.
Well, I think maybe I touched on that last time when I spoke with you and this group. I do believe that confidence is built by you trusting you. Now, that does not necessarily mean that you have all of the results to show for yet. But if you say that I want to reach this is my target, and every single day you are acting in line of what you said. That is why I say that you want to step up your vision, you want to speak it out loud, but you want to make sure that your actions support the words that you say. Every time that you schedule a meeting, every time that you do a meeting, every time that you do what you said you would do, you are building trust in you. And when you know that you can trust you, that shows in your confidence. Then suddenly you start to speak with more clarity. You start to be more convincing when you speak. People can see it in your energy. People can even notice it in your posture because you carry yourself in a different way. So it really starts with you making sure that the actions supports the words you say.
Love it. Okay, I'm going to open it up here. People have questions in mind. Go ahead, unmute. What are you struggling with? Go ahead, Ricardo.
Hello, Hilde. Thank you so much for tonight's session, and thanks for the opportunity to ask you a question. Um, I'm enjoying and loving the journey of going from one meeting a week to 10 meetings a week. But I find that I'm coming across a lot of people that they have this idea that, oh, it's direct sales, it's network marketing. And I feel like I'm stuck because I'm not using maybe a transparent language with clarity that people can understand that maybe network marketing is not a bad choice. But I think that I'm missing a lot of opportunities because I don't know how to explain. So is there any magic lines that we can use to make it more clear for them to, right, I should actually look into this new profession because maybe this is just a concept that I created based out of nothing.
Well, I think that it's not necessarily a magic line or some magic words because it depends a little bit on who you speak with and their experience and their background. But I do believe that a lot of people is at least, if you are 40 or younger, you start to know a little bit about social media. And I don't know, like these people that you're approaching, are they like, which age group are they in?
I would say middle age.
Middle age. And what would you define as middle age? Because if you ask my husband who's 50, he's like, well,
Yeah.
if you're 60, then you're middle age.
I would go between 40 and 50. Yeah.
Okay. Affiliate marketing is something that a lot of people know about these days, right? So you sign a deal with a company that gives you a commission. Only challenge is that it's only about a one sale only. So you get commission on one sale, right? However, through the network marketing model, you can create leverage. And through leveraging through many sales, which basically means that you're not just going to earn money on one sale, but you will earn money every single time that they purchase the product. Now, on top of that, obviously, there's other people who are affiliate marketers that also do the same. And instead of you just earning money on your own personal sale, you can earn money on everyone's sale. Now, that's just one way of describing it. There is not necessarily one magical line. I don't really have a magic line or a magic touch on this or that. In some meetings, I would maybe sit down with people and I would start to talk about the cash flow quadrant that you've probably read about or you've heard about, right? And why network marketing is a unique opportunity to not just switch time with money, but actually build a business without the normal cost. You basically get a business in a box. But then on top of that, because there is a system, you can leverage on that system, and without you having to employ 200 people or 500 people or 1,000 people, you can give each and every one of them an opportunity, and then you can earn a little bit on everyone's sale at the same time as you help them build their business. So again, if I'm sitting with someone who has a background with social media, and I was having a meeting with one who had a social media background a little earlier today. That was why I was talking about affiliate marketing, right? I would maybe go into that. If I'm talking with someone who is more an entrepreneur, I would maybe go a little bit more into cash flow quadrant and talk about that. I think the key is to tune the conversation based on who you are talking to. So I don't know if you got any wiser, Ricardo.
No, that was brilliant. Hilde, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Those have been thanks.
Mm-hmm. Let me just pull up a slide here. I'm just going to find the presentation. Can you give me access, Carla, to share?
Yeah, absolutely. Fun that you, oops, and I actually hit the mute next to it instead. Let me just make you co-host. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we've got other questions here. I've got a couple, or at least one here that in the background here, but we will take that afterwards too, because that's also in regards to the team.
Yeah.
Oh, I had another one, somebody asking, oh, could we not have even like some more business presentations, and maybe even having you or Orion do some business presentations between now and the end of the month? I had that question also of because that way people can say the founders are doing a presentation, and could be an idea. Just passing that on.
So I will see what we do have the time to. I can tell you that Orion is touring Asia from Monday. And then I also do have some pre-scheduled trips. So I don't know if we can manage it here in this month, but let me see. I'm gonna look at it and at least bring it into the future with me. But here is some questions, right, that you can maybe make a note of. If you had more time or more money, what would you change or use it for first?
Mm-hmm.
Now, have you ever considered starting your own business? Or how happy are you with the freedom and flexibility you have in your current job? Now, what is the most important thing that you would want from an extra income? Is it financial increase, security, personal growth, build something long-term? Now, how many hours per week could you realistically invest in something new if it could give you more freedom in the long run? Now, what do you dream of doing or achieving in the next 3 to 5 years that you cannot do today? Now, the point is that words holds an incredible power. People don't buy what something is, they buy what it means to them. So your words carry energy. They determine whether someone feels understood, valued, or not. So it's all about, and I think this is the key here, it's all about them. It's not about you. You want to talk about their wishes, not your goals, right? You want to say, well, this is where I'm heading, And I do believe, that we can do something great together, but it's all about transferring it over to them. So you want to use language that then creates pictures in their minds, be clear, direct, and human, and not necessarily empty phrases. So just to give you a few, tips here. It's a test that measures your fatty acid profile. Probably, well, it's very exact, but it's a mirror of your cells showing whether your body absorbs what you eat every day is better. Now, it's a dietary supplement. It is. It's a tool to build your body healthy from the inside out, maybe better. Now, you could take the balanced oil every day, or you could say, well, you should give your body the daily nutrients it can use to repair itself. So that is, again, all about words. It's about omega-3. It's very clear, but not necessarily creating and aspiring to someone's feeling. It's about giving your brain, heart, and cells what they need to function optimally. Different wording. It's a test that you take once. Well, this is the start of a journey where you can measure, see, and celebrate the results in your body. Now, if you go over to business opportunity, so just to get back to your questions, that was why I popped up, this presentation. It's about network marketing. Well, again, that's the fact, but it's better if you say, this is a platform to build a business without employees, storage, or big investments. Now, you have to recruit. Well, you can build a team of ambitious people going the same way as you and help them succeed. It's more clear communication. It's commission-based. Well, this is performance-based. You get paid for the value you create, not the hours that you work. Now, you must sell products, or you could say, well, you can inspire others to make better choices for their health. And on top of it, get paid for it. Here you can earn money. Or you can say, here you can build a portfolio income not tied to how many hours you work. It costs, well, the investment is. Yes, Ricardo. Raising your hand. Oh, no. Okay, so I can continue here, but I think that, again, yes, words hold power. And sometimes it's just a slight change of what we say that makes people understand what we say. So therefore, your question, Ricardo, is very important. And what I would encourage you to do is that based on your experience, write down the different people that you've gotten this question to, and then use your own mind because you know these people, right? And then you ask yourself, because you're a smart guy and you've already created a lot of great results, right? So you ask yourself, if I should communicate it differently to that particular someone, how would I phrase it? Based on how I know them, how would I phrase it? And then maybe you pick up the phone again and you say that, would it be okay if we have another chat? Okay, you're on mute, so you can't really respond to that, but
Unmute, there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, but
Yes,
this is one of the reasons why I always say this and especially during a 90-day run like this, and especially during November. One of the, and I think I told you this before, but 4 questions that I constantly ask myself every day. What did I do well? What didn't go so well? What did I learn? How can I grow? And I think that this is so important because, for instance, very often we are in certain meetings, and I can tell you, Ricardo, I also have some of those meetings where I'm like, gosh, I didn't communicate that as well as I wanted, Next time, I'm gonna do it better. But then I think that one thing is to say that. Another thing is to ask yourself, so how can I do it better the next time? And the problem is that a lot of people, they go from meeting to meeting thinking, I could have done this better. I could have done this better. I could have done this better. but they never take the 5 minute time to actually think about how they could do it better. So you asking yourself that question, writing it down, then you know exactly how you're going to respond to it, to that type of personality the next time. Does it make sense?
Yes. Thank you, Hilda.
That. Well, I do have one that wrote me a question, and it's more team related. So we're always working with the most excited people. And you find a person down a leg that's like here, 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 and here's the excited person. And now when you kind of adopt these people who are, you adopt them like they're your own and you want to do all the meetings and help and get them going, but it's hard to do that with a lot of people. So but they have certain upline. And if they have certain upline that could be helping them, what can you say and do to motivate these people to help the downline and to follow the system? Or is there anything that you can do to help motivate them to also help? Does that make sense in the question? That's kind of, I know what she's meaning.
So what you're asking is that you're working with someone who's like on level 5 directly, and there is a lot of people in between that is not necessarily so active. Is that what you say?
They're not so active, but they have direct benefit of this person. So is there something to do to help have these people be more involved in them, or to see that this is also their group, their team, follow the system, help them so that it's not just you?
Well, first of all, it starts with people's goals, right? So you want to have a dialogue again about what their goals is. Hunger is everything in what we do, right? The reason why the majority is not doing enough is either because they lack hunger or they lack skills. And also, sometimes it's just because they lack a little confidence in themselves and they need a little boost, someone around them that say that they are capable, right? So you got to figure out between the three what is lacking. Sometimes what I feel is that when we jump in and we work with someone further down in the team, it's because this person is truly, truly hungry. And then it is a smart move for you to work directly with that person, because again, it's probably through that person you will generate the biggest results. But the key now is that surely you want to activate people in between. So you want to talk with them about their goals and you want to make a plan. And in that process of the plan, well, they can maybe help out with customer meetings. They can help out with partner meetings under this someone. But again, you want to make sure that they have the skills. And then sometimes the only thing that is needed is that they actually need your push, where you say that you've done this before, you know how to do it, go out and do it, right? And let's have a talk about it after the first 2 meetings, so that again we can do a check and adjust, and we can create some more from it. But I think that having those conversations, making a plan, just letting them know, I would have loved to have you more involved with this person. Have the dialogue about why they've not been involved, just an open, honest dialogue. And then setting some new goals, and usually, that either will help them do a little bit more, or at least, even though they don't necessarily help, maybe what they will do is that they will enroll someone who anyway benefits the whole team.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Hope she got out of that. Okay, any other questions? Because I know Hilde needs to be going here, but any last questions from anybody or any? Okay. Well, Hilde, we really can't thank you enough. We are excited to finish this month as strong as possible, but we know it's not just what it's going to affect us for this month. We know it's going to affect December, January, and all of next year, and These groups are fantastic to all the learning that we get and all the boost that the business can bring. So thank you so much for your time, Hilde.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you. And let's now remember what I said. I don't know exactly what your goals is, but this day you want to be at 20%. And even though if you're a little bit below 20%, it's all about that decision and jumping on, a little bit extra time, a little bit extra meetings. And then through that, we will at least create a great month, and very often it tips over and make sure that it becomes an excellent month as well. So let's do whatever we can, and I wish you the best of luck. And again, one more time, big thank you for everything that you do.
Sorry, can I just ask a question? I've just unmuted myself.
Oh, okay. We have just a minute. So
sorry, just to say I'm hungry. I believe I'm confident. Jimmy reached out to me and I just need the skills. Or what else can you say? I don't know, to my fire's lit, has been since Oslo. Can you be too passionate about Zeno? Which I am.
Well, first of all, I love that you're passionate and that you're excited, and that you're hungry, and that you, are all in. I think that in every communication, we got to adapt our communication style to the person that we're talking to, right? Yep. So I don't know you, and I don't know exactly how you communicate, right? But I think that sometimes if we, it's like if we overload people with facts, or if we overload people with enthusiasm, sometimes that can also scare certain people away. So you gotta look at which person you're speaking to, and then, try to adapt the communication style to them. And then remember what I showed also in the presentation. It's not about you. It's not actually about the product. It's about them. It's all about them. And if you make sure that they understand it's all about them and they feel heard and they feel valued when you speak with them, then they will be interested to learn more. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I do believe that that is at least, the key that I've noticed myself has been working for myself, as well as hundreds and thousands of other people that I've been coaching over the years.
Thank you.
Okay,
thank you so much, Hilde.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Carla.
You're so great.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Hilde.
Thank you.